And welcome to True Stories from a Real Private Eye. I'm Vinnie Coppola. I'm going to be your host. This is our first episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you're a fan of true stories, you're going to love this. I have with me one of my oldest friends. His name is Lynn Lambdin. He's a real private eye from Atlanta, Georgia, and he is going to regale us with some of his real life experiences. And I've talked to him before. I've known him for so long. Some of these stories are just, they're just crazy. And we know you're going to love them. And we thank you for being here. Lynn, welcome to our first episode, case number 1. Tell us what we're about to hear.
Well, Vinnie, I appreciate you having me. And this is back in probably 96. I hadn't been a PI very long. This was probably before I met you, actually.
Oh, okay.
I was very, very fresh in the field. Hadn't done a whole lot. I'd probably been in the field about 6 months. And
did you have any special training to become a private eye, or do you just say, "Hey, I want to be a private eye," and you just go and do it?
No, in the state of Georgia, I had to take some schooling. I had to go to school, and I had to get my qualifications. And then I was working as an apprentice and under a licensed private eye.
How long did all that take? How long did the classes take? How long did the...
I went to school for, I think it was an 8-week course.
Wow.
We had to go, I think, 4 nights a week for 4 hours each night. And you mainly just study the laws of the land, what you can and can't do, what boundaries you can and can't cross, private property laws, where you can film at, what you can't film, and things of that nature.
Really? Are private eyes in the state of Georgia allowed to carry a gun? I mean, I know with the laws the way they are now, everybody can carry a gun. But back in 96, I think the laws were different.
Yeah, you could carry a gun, anything 38 or less.
Okay.
I carried a 9mm most of the time. I'm a country boy. I didn't really... And I'd studied a lot of martial arts. As kind of a confident person.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a friendly person.
Sure, yes.
I didn't really see the need to carry a gun all the time. If I did carry a gun, I left it in the car. So I never tried to be intimidating. I always tried to be on the friendly side. It was easier that way.
Yeah.
If you try to approach somebody with a little humor, little friendliness, you could get closer to them. And if you tried to, intimidate your way in. So I never really tried to carry a gun or anything. I always tried to just be friendly and, talk to people. I'd go to the airport and follow somebody to a plane and ride the train with them and talk to them all the way till they got to the airport. These days you can't do that because there are more restrictions. But back then it was easy because there were no restrictions.
Wait a second. I'm sorry, Lynn. Somebody you were tailing, you would wind up talking to them on the train. Is that what you were telling me?
Oh yeah, on the tram. I'd get on the tram with them and just and talk to them all the way till they got and sit beside them.
And he didn't know you were tailing.
Oh, no, they wouldn't know I was telling them. I would.
That's great.
I'd sit right there with them. Matter of fact, there was a friend of yours and mine that I tailed all the way to the airport. And well, it was a friend of yours and mine, and his wife didn't know me. And as she was going to the airport, I got all of the evidence with her and her boyfriend. She was going out of the country. I'll tell you that story some other time, but
holy cow, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 1996. You're fresh out of the school. You already did your apprentice work. Let's hear this one.
I'm still doing my apprentice work. You got to do 2 years apprentice work before you can apply for your license. So
wait a second. Is that like a ride along in a police car? You're with another private eye, a licensed private eye. He takes you under his wing, and you ride along with him.
Well, you don't have to ride along with him. You just have to work under his direction.
Okay.
So I'm working under his direction. So one evening he calls me up and he says, "I got a subpoena I need you to serve." And he said, "I need you to be at her house at 6:00 in the morning. That's about the time she leaves." I was young and didn't know much about the business, and he didn't tell me a lot. And that's one of their tactics with new people. They don't tell you anything about what you're getting into. So
that's what I was just about to ask you. You think that was on purpose, that he didn't let you?
Yeah, it was on purpose. So I go pick up the subpoena from the office, and At 5:30 the next morning, I pull up in front of her house, 5:30, 5:45, and I'm sitting there, and I got breakfast and a soda on the way to the house.
Do you know what she looks like? Did you know what she looks like?
Oh yeah, we had pictures and everything of her. Well, we had pictures of her in wigs and stuff. Come to find out, it was a pretty in-depth story. So I sit there, and about 8:30, she comes out. Well,
you were there. You got there at 5:45. She didn't come out till 8:30.
About 8:30. And I'm driving. Now, this is important to the story. I'm driving a Firebird with a V8 engine in it, and it's a monster. I mean, it's got a positive traction rear end. It'll go.
Oh yeah.
About 8:30, she comes backing out of the garage in a Mitsubishi Eclipse, and I didn't realize that it was her because she had all this wigs and makeup and stuff on, and I went, "Wait a minute, that's her." And when she drove by me, I looked in my rearview mirror and I said, "That's her. That's the tag number." So I whip it around and follow her, and we're driving around, and we pull up to a red light, and I try to jump out and serve her, and she runs through the red light, so I had to blow through the red light, and we run all over town. I mean, everywhere, man. I'm just telling you, blowing through red lights, blowing through parking lots.
Well, she knew you were chasing her.
Oh yeah, she knew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she knew. She knew that she knew that somebody was in front of her house all the time. Come to find out.
Oh, come to find out. So she knew that someone was trying to serve her.
Oh, she knew it for a long time. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't know this. They didn't tell me this, but I found this out later. So we get on I-85 going northbound. And so this is, by the time we get on I-85, it's about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we're going up I-85, and she'll slow down to about 35, and then she would gun that little Mitsubishi, and smoke would just come blowing out of the exhaust pipe. I just let her go on because I had a car that she couldn't run off and leave.
Right.
So she would get up in front of a tractor and trailer and slam on her brakes and try to cause the tractor and trailer to jackknife.
Really?
And the tractor and trailer they were smart enough that they wouldn't jackknife. They would most of the time just go off to the side. And then I would just gun it and go around the tractor and trailer and get right back behind her. So she would get off the exit, and we'd circle back and come back south. We did this all day long. Now, remember, Vinnie, I ate breakfast, got in my car, ate breakfast on the way to her house. I'd been in my car since 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
About 2 o'clock, we're still playing cat and mouse.
Wow.
I got to pee.
Oh, no.
I got a migraine headache.
Yeah.
I've got a piece of bad. I'm hurting.
Yeah.
And this was back at the very beginning of cell phones.
Okay.
So I'm calling the office, and they start telling me, "Yeah, we knew she was going to do this." I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me? I would have brought a jug, something to pee in."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're just, and they say, "Well, be careful. She'll do anything to get away from you." I said, "Well, what's the story with this woman?" They said, "Well, her daughter was a performer on the West Coast, and she got hurt, and she filed a workman's comp case. And then she's filing for the insurance that she can never work again. She had like a $6 million policy at the time, and she's trying to collect on that policy."
Do you remember what kind of performer she was?
I do.
Okay.
But that, I don't want to get out. I don't want to say, because they probably still live here in Atlanta. And
okay. So this is somebody. Oh, so this isn't a famous person, but you don't want. I think that's a smart idea, Lynn. I think that's a smart idea. We'll just use aliases here. Like, we'll call her Jane. So the daughter's name is Jane.
The daughter's name was Jane, and she was a performer.
Like a singer, a dancer.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere in that line.
Okay.
And singers don't typically get hurt.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So she filed a workman's comp claim, and they were paying her. She made good money. She made really good money. She was pretty popular at what she done.
Okay.
So she had moved back to the East Coast to live with her mother while this was going on. So she filed for this $6 million or whatever it was. It was a pretty large policy that she had. So if she got hurt and could never perform again, she collected on this policy.
She claimed she got hurt.
Well, she did get hurt, but it wasn't a bad injury.
Oh, okay.
According to the lawsuit.
Okay, I gotcha.
So when she filed this other claim, the two insurance companies got together and they wanted to do surveillance on her. Well, they done surveillance on her and found out that she wasn't hurt. And found out that she'd come to the East Coast and started working in under a different name.
Yeah.
So if she's working in under a different name and in the same field, she can't claim workman's comp on the West Coast and get this insurance policy.
Right.
So the mother had all the evidence. And that's why they were trying to subpoena the mother. Right. Well, the mother had a really bad habit of doing whatever she had to not take this subpoena because she wasn't going. This was a federal lawsuit. This wasn't a state lawsuit because when she had moved to Georgia, somehow they'd got it in federal court. I don't know. I'd been in the business only a few months. I didn't have enough sense to know how they got it into the federal court, but it had become a federal lawsuit.
She was doing whatever she could to avoid this the subpoena because they wanted to keep that money coming in.
The money, they'd stopped the money.
Oh, okay. They just wanted to build a case against her.
Oh, yeah, because it was fraud.
Okay.
The daughter, they were wanting to bring fraud charges against the daughter, but they didn't want to pay the insurance policy.
Yeah.
So if the mother turned these records over, they'd lose their case.
Possibly go to jail.
And possibly go to jail. And if they don't turn the records over, they can hold the mother in jail for 11 months and 29 days.
So this is why she's running.
This is why she's running, because if you don't adhere to a subpoena, the judge can hold you in jail on a federal case for, at the time, I don't know what it is now, but at the time it was 11 months and 29 days.
Wow.
So here it is, 3:00 in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon, and we go into Rabun County. We've been playing cat and mouse up and down 85. We go into Rabun County.
Is that north of Cherokee?
No, that's up 85, almost into South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
That's how far up we are.
Okay, I got you.
And I'm running out of gas.
Oh, no.
My car has so little gas in it that I don't know how much further I can follow this woman.
Yeah, yeah.
So we start through the town of Rabun County.
Okay.
And there's how the fire trucks are the chief drives in just a regular pickup truck.
Yeah.
Well, she pulls up beside the fire truck and she starts communicating, but I don't know what she's saying.
Yeah.
So we're riding on through the town of whatever town that was there in Rabun County, but it was a Rabun County fire truck.
Okay.
A pickup truck.
Okay.
Well, we're riding on up through there, and all of a sudden my car starts sputtering.
Uh-oh.
I'm out of gas. I'm thinking, well, I've wasted a whole day, and I'm just cussing.
Yeah.
It's going to get away.
Yeah.
So my car quits.
Yeah.
And I'm coasting into the gas station, and here comes 4 police cars.
After you?
And they circle in around me. And they jump out with guns. And remember, I've got a migraine headache. My head is just pounding. I mean, it's just, my head is hurting so bad, I'm seeing double.
Have you peed yet?
No.
Oh.
And they all jump out with guns. And remember, I'm only like 25, 26 years old.
Yeah. Brand new to the business. This is your business. This is your what do they call it? Your baptism into the private eye.
Exactly.
Business. Yeah.
So I am pissed.
Yeah.
I'm so mad that I could bite a nail into.
Yeah.
So I kick my car door open and I get out and they're yelling to stay in the car. And I take the envelope with the subpoena in it and I just threw it. And I said, and when you read it, push my damn car to the gas pump and gas it up. I got to go take a piss.
Yeah, right.
And I just walked off and they're yelling at me to stop.
Yeah.
So whoever was in charge picked up the subpoena and read the federal subpoena.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, because I hadn't looked at it,
right,
there was a letter in there that the attorney I was working for wrote that said this woman will do anything, even lie to police and fire, saying that that the person trying to serve her is trying to kill her.
Yeah.
And they had the judge to sign it.
Yeah. You should have read that letter.
And I should have. I should have opened it and seen what it was.
Yeah.
But they just told me it was a subpoena, and they gave me a copy of the subpoena, but they didn't give me a copy of the letter.
Nor did they say, "Hey, by the way, there's a letter in there. Take a look at it."
Exactly. Yeah. And so when the chief of police and read this, and I said, after you gassed my car up, I said, you need to go get that bitch because I need to serve her.
Yeah.
So when I came back out of the gas station, I was in there for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Because, man, I had to pee. And I'm telling you, it took me 10 minutes to get everything out.
I've been there, man.
And so when I came back out, I bought me a water and a bag of chips because I was hungry.
Yeah.
And when I came back out, my car was gassed up. I paid for my gas while I was in there.
The cops gassed up your car?
Yeah, they pushed my car over to the gas pumps and gassed it up.
That's great.
And the cops and the chief said, if you'll follow me, we've got her stopped down, because all the other cars were gone. It was just the chief.
Yeah.
He said, he told me what happened. He said, when she pulled up beside the captain of the fire department, she told him that she mouthed to him that you were trying to kill her and kidnap her.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, that's why we approached you with guns out.
Yeah. Yep.
And he said, now we see that that's not true. And we got her pulled over down here on the side of the road.
Yeah.
So he said, your car's gassed up. I said, I'll pay for it in there.
Yeah.
And he said, if you'll follow me, I'll take you to her.
That's awesome.
So I got in my car. He got in his car. And when we got down there, they were 3 cars surrounding her, one in front, one in back, and one on the side.
Yeah.
And he said, she's right there in the car. He goes, what do you need? I said, I need her driver's license, and I need for you to take that wig off of her head. So he walks down to the car. He takes her driver's license, and he goes, ma'am, take the wig off.
Yeah.
She said, I don't have a wig on. He said, ma'am, take the wig off. She goes, I don't have a wig on. He looks at the driver's license. He reached in the car. He jerked her wig off and he threw it in her lap. And he walked back to me and he said, here's her driver's license.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And I verified it was her.
Yeah.
I walked up. I dropped the subpoena in her lap.
Yeah.
I threw her driver's license in her car. And I looked down in her car and I said, you can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Yeah, nice.
And I went back and I got in my car. I never said thank you to the police or nothing.
Yeah.
I just drove off.
Yeah.
And when I left, she was sitting there on the side of the road and her and the cops are arguing and arguing. And I never kept up with the case because I'd done my job.
Yeah.
But the last I had heard, she had spent at least 6 months in jail and would not turn over the documents.
Really?
And they wasn't going to let her out until she did her time or turn over the documents.
Yeah.
And she said that she wasn't going to turn them over. She was just going to do her time.
And can the government or whoever prosecutes a case like that, can they go after her again?
No, if she's not going to turn over the records, I mean, she's not going to turn them over. But I did hear that the insurance companies both did not pay her the lump sum, and she lost her unemployment case, her workman's comp case. She did lose both of those.
Yeah. Now, just for the sake of just for the sake for the people that are listening and maybe don't understand the legality of subpoenas and things like that, what would happen if she just ignored the subpoena that you gave to her? Isn't that a binding thing? Once you serve her, she absolutely has to appear in court, or what?
Well, as they say, they'll send the brown taxi after you, and that's slang for the sheriff.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. She didn't show. She said she just wouldn't show up for the subpoena. And the attorney that issued the subpoena used the power of the courts to have her arrested and held in jail until she either adhered to the subpoena, and they will only hold you for 11 months and 29 days in that particular court in California that it was being heard in.
Yeah. And did she have to pay court or there was no court. She just went right to jail. There was absolutely no court. So.
I don't know. It was a California subpoena.
Oh, I see.
And I'm not sure the every court handles it. It was a federal court case. And I'm not sure exactly how it was handled or what. I just know that she was picked up and held. They probably held her here in court or here in jail.
Yeah.
In a federal jail here somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
The last I had heard that she refused to testify and they had held her. And I asked several times because they had co-counsel here in Atlanta that they were working with.
Right.
And I'd heard several. I asked for a few months and they said, yes, she's still in jail. She won't testify. And
So
she won't turn over the record.
So she did 6 months in jail for that.
The last I'd heard, it was 6 months, but they said they were going to, the attorneys that I was working for said that they were going to request that they held her the whole time.
Yeah.
They were either going to make her turn them over or hold them the whole time.
So you got there at 5:45 in the morning.
5:45 in the morning.
And at what was the time of day when you said you can run but you can't hide, bitch? What was
that? Was about 5 o'clock.
Wow.
Because I got to the gas station about 4 o'clock and I spent it's probably about 4:30 or so, sometime between 4:30 and 5, because when I went into the gas station to pee, it was about 4 o'clock.
12-hour day.
Oh yeah. Well, it was longer than that because I had to drive from Rabin County back to Chambers Plains.
In traffic, 5 o'clock Atlanta traffic. Holy cow.
Yeah. It was just but it was, I didn't have to pee on the way back. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, right.
Man, on the way up there, I'm telling you, man, after sitting in the car that long and you have to pee and it was and I had a migraine, man. You don't eat that long and you get to have to pee. I suffer with migraines anyway, especially at that age. I really suffered with them.
Wow.
And they would get so bad, they would just be blinding. And by the time that I had gotten to her at that time of day, that my headache was just blinding. It was just so bad I couldn't see. I mean, I hurt.
Wow.
And it was just a rough day. But
I bet you always carry a jug with you in the car now when you're out on.
I have never peed in a jug on a job.
Okay.
Never. But there is ways around it. But,
good for you.
After I got known in the business to where that I could charge more money, I'd always take two cars.
Yeah.
That way you watch and I go pee, and then I watch and you go pee.
Oh, yeah. So there's two cars following.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lot easier that way because if you think your subject spots you, when you turn right, I turn left, and then the other car picks up.
Yeah. Wow. Smart.
Yeah. But you can't do that when you're not known. You got to build a reputation before you can do that.
Yeah.
And that took me a while. But I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you in a later date. I'll tell you when I become known and how I become known.
See, I was just gonna say, if you enjoyed that story, I sure did. We're gonna do more of these. This was very fun for me, Lynn. This was a cool little story. I enjoyed that.
I lived a lot of them, Vinnie.
Yeah. So hey,
I lived some that'll make you laugh, and I've lived some that'll make you mad, and I've lived a few that'll make that scared the dickens out of me.
Okay, this is great. So let's make this a regular thing. If you enjoyed that, we are going to do more of these. It's true stories from a real private eye. That's Lynn Lambdin. Are you still active in the private eye biz, Lynn?
Vinnie, I gave up following people and divorces a long time ago because I found that they were more money in other fields in the PI business. But yes, I'm still active. And right when you think that the craziness has ended, it hasn't. Yeah. Because there's you can't make this up. Yeah. Life is stranger than fiction.
For sure.
I talk to my people all the time, and I talk to my wife, and late night you're laying in the bed and you watch true crime stories, and you see these idiots that molest children. Yeah. And I'm thinking, why on God's green earth are you molesting a child? I just worked a divorce case where a woman blew a guy on a boat and let everybody on the dock watch.
Yeah.
But why are you molesting a child?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. There's better things for you.
Exactly. I mean, you're molesting a child. You're going to go to prison.
Yeah.
You're going to be molested and beat and live behind bars and just have a miserable existence.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
There's people out there. There's adults out there that'll do anything you want. I
Exactly.
got video proof.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Lynn, I look so forward to hearing more of these stories. That was a lot of fun. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to True Stories from a Real Private Eye. I'm Vinnie Coppola. You can find me at www.vinnie.com. That's VINNIE.com. If you enjoy stand-up comedy, check me out. But please subscribe to this podcast. We're gonna tell more stories. Lynn is gonna tell us more stories. We're gonna hear some funny ones. We're gonna hear some scary ones. I'm all in, buddy. This was a lot of fun for me.
I've got almost 30 years worth, Vinnie.
All right, so we got some serious episodes coming up. Case 1, Crazy Mom. Thanks for listening.